got fuck all to say, have we?
What have you done today? What have you seen in the psychological world? Seen anybody acting on their emotions?
Everybody.
Give an example.
Just everybody acts on their emotions, don't they?
I saw somebody cry.
How did that make you feel?
I felt a little bit sorry for them, because they was crying over a reason I'd never cry over.
Was they crying over success?
No. Basically they got a telling off and they were sobbing their eyes out. Really.
How old was the person?
I think she's about 21.
She was sobbing.
Does that mean she didn't like being told? Does it mean that there's some truth in it?
I don't know, I wasn't there.
I thought, you know what, maybe she gives her all and then they tell her off, and maybe that's what she was crying over.
I honestly couldn't speculate, I wasn't there, I don't know.
What do you cry over?
I cry over raw, beautiful sadness.
An example?
Like the other day.
Why are you laughing?
I'm just trying to think of something funny to say about something that sounds really pathetic while I cried. But I ain't going to do it. I cried the other day thinking about my deceased father. I think his name was Paul, if I remember rightly.
So why did you cry over him?
Because it's just a shame. Oh yeah, that was it. I've realised how much I needed his love growing up. And how I only got like tiny little fragments of it.
Who did you cry for, him or yourself?
I don't think... Both people. Because it was a shame he had so many shadow sides to himself that it affected his behaviour. Because ultimately, he would have always wanted to have a good relationship with me. But humorously, he was probably annoyed that he had to spend so much time showing me the love that he did show me. You never know, do you? But I do know that before he learnt his fears in life and what upset him, made him worried, there was a person in him that was loving to everybody. And what I did growing up is I unconsciously reminded my father of the things he least liked about himself. I was a dancer, weren't I? I used to like dancing and theatre. And I think it triggered a lot of homophobia in my dad. So...
When you was crying the other day, did any point of it you feel angry? Angry maybe of crying? Angry?
No, there's always a bit of anger there because I regress back into that hurt inner child that hasn't got my needs met.
Any happiness?
Loads of happiness in the fact that I then regress back to being an adult that understands how people can behave in such a way. And I love my father because it's just a pity that he had his issues, I had mine, and those things stopped us coming together and expressing a deep, true love for each other that I know I always had for him. And I'm sure he had for me. Of course he did. It's just that, you know, no, he didn't. He had no love for me, did he? Who am I kidding?
Didn't seem to respect you. Didn't seem to respect you, but maybe he respected you a hell of a lot. Could never show it.
He could have done. I mean, he was obviously homophobic, and when I once borrowed his pink tights to dance with in the living room, he took offence to that. So I think what I did was I unconsciously reminded my father that his son was a no good. I ain't going to say the word 'cause it's offensive to others, but that's what he thought of me. You like dancing as well, don't you?
Not in pink tights, though. So, before you cried, was there a memory that made you go back into it, or did you...
No, I was speaking to my partner about some of the issues, and then I think I was under the influence of alcohol, and my defences came down, and before you know it, I was blubbering like I just lost a fucking family member in a tsunami. All that emotion came up, but one thing I did feel good about was that I could allow my emotion to arise, which is something that you actually can't do, isn't it, Craig?
Getting back to you,
Yeah.
did you ever try and fight it when you started to feel it?
Naturally, you want to fight it because when you're growing up as a kid, whenever you felt vulnerable, you try to show that vulnerableness to your parents, but your parents try to protect their feeling of vulnerableness by going to you. Don't be silly. It's not nothing to worry about. You ain't got to be scared. It's nothing to be scared about. You never had no choice to be angry when you was a kid. You couldn't have heard your mum shouting and put your knife and fork down at the dinner table and go, "Mother, I don't think that's appropriate behaviour." They could do it to you, so you weren't allowed to be angry, you wasn't allowed to be sad, you wasn't allowed to be probably even joyful in a kid where you could run around going nuts, because everything was met with boundaries, unreasonable boundaries. So whenever you feel that vulnerability coming up inside you, you have been so conditioned as a kid not allowed to feel your feelings. You automatically protect yourself in the same way your parent was trying to protect you from them. Craig, my beautiful little son, you feel scared. It's okay to be scared. I get scared sometimes too. Just focus on that feeling. It's absolutely, it's a natural feeling. It feels uncomfortable, but it's okay to be scared. And Daddy gets scared too. But what the story is that your dad was told to not be scared and that men should be brave. So whenever your dad was little and he felt afraid, his father would have said to him, because he felt uncomfortable with his feelings, "No, son, you're not afraid. Don't be silly. Nothing to be scared about. What's the matter? Auntie Maureen's died. Auntie Maureen's died." I go upstairs and I cry while Auntie Maureen's lying dead in her grave. I go upstairs and I cry, but what do? I come down and tell my son, "You can't cry. It's only Auntie Maureen. She's gone to a better place. You're not allowed to feel pain." Well, fuck Auntie Maureen off. So that's what the problem is. So the reason why you can't feel pain, or you do feel pain, but the reason why you cannot allow yourself to go there is because you've been conditioned to fear feeling. Whenever you feel these emotions that are churning inside you to come up, instantly your subconscious mind that has been programmed cuts off that emotion, so you don't have to. Did you feel uncomfortable having my arm around you then?
That felt nice, actually. However, I thought about this.
It felt horrible for me. Every minute of it.
Did it really? Honestly, that's made it feel like bad for me now. 'Cause I thought there was genuine sort of love coming through your body.
So anyway, go on.
About fighting the feelings, crying, all that emotion. I thought it was good. I thought it was brilliant. I thought that I'd mastered the universe. I don't have to cry at anybody now. I don't have to cry at death. What is death? I can be the one to put my hand
What a great example of an ego defence.
on the back and say, "Oh, you're going to cry, but look at me. I never cry," and it's not good at all.
No.
I know that now. It's what's bad as well is you can not feel happy or excited either.
No, you can almost numb you to life, can't it? So going forwards, knowing this, you know that when you start to feel very emotional, something kicks in, an invisible mental wall gets built, so Craig doesn't have to feel the pain. However, now you're conscious of what's going on. So the next time you feel that conscious wall being built, don't try and push or break the conscious wall down. Accept that that conscious wall is there to try and protect you. So hopefully you'll go into a more natural way of accepting the wall, accepting your feelings, and you can work through it and hopefully have a good cry. Because one thing I did the other day, I had a really good cry about my dad, which I never do, and I felt a lot of healing as a result of it. There were still questions unanswered in my mind. However, I felt a little bit of, thank God for that. You know, it just felt like a little bit of weight was lifted off me.
I can't remember the last time I even felt excitement. And I recently got Preston back after 4 months, and I remember seeing him, and I didn't cry with joy or sadness.
Preston's
However,
Craig's son, who he's split up with his partner, and he's trying to still keep a really great full-term father-son relationship with him. But things are difficult at the minute, as you can imagine. So Craig's just explaining that.
So even after 4 months, and I felt quite bad, as in, why am I crying? Why am I not showing excitement? So that was quite bad. However, obviously I was happy, but still couldn't show it in any form.
So what do you think your new mastering is in life? He says before, I don't feel emotion, I've mastered the universe, and then you had to go through a series of learnings before you realised you was far from the master of the universe. So, do you feel you've learnt anything that can give you that title back, that you are the master?
Basically, understanding yourself, isn't it? Like you say, you feel something and let it overwhelm you. We put barriers up to all sorts, don't we? And then we also the opposite, we react to things automatically. So just learning there's no right or wrong, is there really? Just
ways of surviving. We've all learnt weird ways of surviving in the world based on significant others, parents, friends, and all we've done is adapted parts of ourselves to fit in a certain environment. And ultimately the environment that we're in these days isn't good for our spirit, because we dismiss our feelings. We will distract ourselves with absolutely everything going on. Material objects, Pokemons, computer games, cars, nails, hair, pink tights, Granny Margaret. We will do everything we can to distract ourselves from the very thing that makes us who we are, which is emotions and feeling. And if you can address and allow those emotions to come up inside you, accept them to be there and not push them away, that's where your body and your mind learn to naturally heal that process. By trying to dismiss them and push them away, they will always remain there.
Just think that the lives that people lead at the moment are based on things that they think they're controlling, however they're not.
No, they are completely out of control.
And for example, a girl stays with a lad for all the wrong reasons.
For all her right reasons, though, sadly.
That she thinks I can't be on my own, I can't get another lad better than him, I'm not worthy of anyone else. If she took that control back, the future would be 100 times better.
But by not having that control, that's always the way she's controlled it, isn't it? It's like a paradox. She looks like she's out of control of the situation, but that's the partner that she actually needs. That's the way that she learned a normal, healthy relationship. Consciously, she wants nothing to do with it. She wonders why, how can I be with this kid still? He does this to me, he does that. But subconsciously, she's been in an environment where she's associated that to be the norm. And those needs are built upon those learnt experiences. So even though consciously she wants to get away from that partner, unconsciously to her, she's drawn to him because she learnt from maybe her father with the mother's relationship, that the father was dismissive, not very loving, could be abusive. So she learnt love through her father, or through her own relationship with her father. Maybe her father would go out drinking and neglect her, but then sometimes he would give her an ounce of love. So she learnt the process of love through absence, and then a tiny bit of love, and that's what she gets now through this new partner that just goes to the pub, drinks all the time. Why do I put up with it, she says consciously. She puts up with it because she's programmed unconsciously to associate that with what she's ever, all she's witnessed and experienced. I think that says it, doesn't it?
And if someone gave her more...
I thought that was deep enough. I thought I went really deep there. I was proud of myself, and you found something else.
Basically, going from my own example, when I met a girl that was all perfect for me, could not falter, could I?
No.
However,
I could though. I couldn't I?
I couldn't find a reason to be with her, in a way. However, a reason not to be with her as well. And a girl could find a man 100 times better than her current boyfriend, nicer, doesn't hit her. However, that is not the thing that she will say he's better for, will he?
The sad thing is, she would turn round and she'd go, I can't leave him because I love him. And she doesn't know why she loves him. But if she began to go down the journey of understanding herself and why she's got needs, why those needs are there, she will soon understand that she's grown into love with this person on a bad pattern of upbringing that has led her to seek out that same negative pattern, which is just bizarre, isn't it?
Look at the famous line about women liking a bad boy. Does any young girl get programmed to like someone who treats them badly?
Does a girl get programmed to like somebody that treats them badly? Definitely, sir.
With what? Their own upbringing?
That's exactly right, yeah. So in a sense, women do like bad boys, but young girls that have grew up in really helpful, nourishing, positive environments will actively go out and they will love to get with somebody that's going to treat them with respect and decency, because that's the way they learnt their love, through their significant relationships with fathers, mothers, grandparents. So I think we've covered a little bit there, haven't we, Craig?
I recently met a girl as well who says that she never went on a date with any of the men that she'd ever been with, and she just used to sleep with them on the very first night because she thought that would make them like her for who she is.
No.
And she told me almost everything straight away, almost to put me off her in a way. But she wanted to tell me everything rather than me to find out 3 months down the line to see, you know, if she rather than waste 3 months, know everything about me now and tell me if you're put off me, which that's the way she's programmed to be.
Yeah.
However, I says to her, you do not need to tell me anything about you. I will judge you on this present moment.
You'll judge her?
Nothing on the future, nothing on the
Why
past.
would you judge her?
Because when you go out with someone, you're judging their character, their
I have never, I'll get this on camera, I have never judged anybody in my whole life.
You're not a judgmental person. I've been programmed to be very judgmental.
I wouldn't know.